This iron right here is 50 to 60% more expensive than any of the other irons in the Callaway Apex range. The Apex Ti is a titanium face iron that looks absolutely stunning and has broken new ground in terms of its construction, featuring a titanium face, something that we usually only see in drivers. So just how good is it in the hands of an average swing speed mid-handicap golfer, and should you consider breaking the bank to spend 50 to 60% more money on this iron versus any of the other irons in the Apex range? Let's find out. Just got the Callaway Apex Ti iron in my hands for the first time. First impression, it's a gorgeous looking iron. It looks so sleek down at address. That top line is so thin. It's got a really nice sleek profile to it. It doesn't look anywhere near as big as something like the Ai200 that I've just benchmarked against. It looks closer to a blade in terms of how it looks. It really is a sleek profile, including that blade length as well. I'm sure the color is adding to that as well, but it does look so cool with that gunmetal shaft and also that finish on the black on the iron. It's a really sexy looking club. It looks like it is an expensive club because it is an expensive club. Let's see how it performs though when we start hitting some shots. There we go. Whew. That felt good. That felt really good. It's going to be a little bit longer because I've turned it over ever so slightly down the right hand side. So getting 158 yards of carry out of it is good. 109 of ball speed, very good for me with a 7-iron, at the top end of what I get out of testing. So one of the big things that Callaway talk about with this iron is that titanium face, the key selling point. Usually the material that we see in driver faces, it's not new in terms of being used in golf clubs, but it is quite new in terms of being used in iron heads as the kind of face material. And one of the things they talk about is explosive ball speeds, and that's why I wanted to test it against the Ai200 today to see if it really does deliver that kind of performance compared to its sort of slightly chunkier brother. That's so good again. It feels great. I'm not going to suggest that it's the best feeling iron that I've ever felt. It doesn't feel, outstanding, like, oh my God, you've got to go and buy this iron and pay the money for it. But it does feel really, really nice. It's just, because of the material construction, it looks stunning. You want to hit good golf shots with it. And then when you hit shots like that one, that's carried 153 yards, span at 4.6, that is low, but I am a low spin player naturally. We know with the mat, you take off about 1,000 RPM, so maybe closer to 5,500 out on the grass. But ball flights, everything about it are really, really strong. The one thing I would say is, a golfer like me, I'm a 12 handicap player, putting it down at address because of the usual construction of golf clubs that I'm used to testing, this does feel very, very sleek and maybe doesn't inspire as much confidence, because I do like something that's got a little bit of a thicker top line and lets me know I'm going to be quite forgiving and a slightly longer blade length perhaps. But there'll be loads of golfers that prefer this sleeker design of this and they'll buy into it straight away. The ball flight is great. There is something really special about as the sun sets and you're out on a floodlit range and you just watch that ball flight go. It's why the appeal of night golf in places like Turkey, and I don't know if you have that out in America, is so appealing, because it just looks so much fun watching that ball flight. Ball speed there of 109. Club head speed is definitely on the faster end of what I usually get. I'm closer to a 77, 78 mile an hour player. Getting ball speeds at 109, like I say, 110 is about as fast as I normally get with a 7-iron. So this is right up at that top end of it. Spin rates are a little low. It seems to be the theme when I'm doing a lot of my iron testing this year, is I'm struggling to get something that spins close to 5,000, which is where I'd want it to be, especially with a premium golf ball. And I would also like to get my launch angle, my land angles above that 45 degrees, but with a peak height of 85 feet, it's going to have lots of potential to stop. Just pull draw a little bit there. 155, ball speed 108, spin rate because of that pull draw has dropped down to 4052, but we've still got a really strong ball flight for a pull draw, really strong. So my first impression is, would I pay 50 to 60% more for this iron over something else? Not right now, but I think the people that are going to pay it are going to pave the way for this technology to potentially become more available at a cheaper price for the rest of us in the future. That can only be a good thing. And manufacturers have to get the money back on their R&D. That's why these are also in a limited supply. But they are very, very nice looking. They're fun to hit. Like I say, maybe just need a little bit more confidence for me to be able to hit them. Although if I hit that bullet straight, that is literally dead on line. It would be all over the pin. And it's my fastest club head speed as well. Now if I hit every shot like that with them, because that one there, we've got the ball speed, we've got the carry, we've got the spin rate for the first time. If I got that with them, maybe I would be tempted, but that would have to happen every time. And as we know, no golf club is capable of doing that. It's all on you as the golfer, right? I love it. The thing that's really impressed me the most is just how consistent that ball flight has been. Again, we'll have a look at it when I get home. I might be dreaming it a little bit here, but it feels like the peak height, the launch, the land angle has just been so consistent, whether I've pushed it a little bit out to the left or turned it over a little bit to the right or even flushed it down the middle. Again, because I've turned it over, we've got a couple of extra yards at 154. Spin at 4.3, again, very similar to any other iron that I'm testing at the moment. It's not doing anything outstandingly different apart from feeling great. I'm gutted I've turned that over because it's so good. So good. Probably one of the best swings I've put on a golf club in a long while. That's how it felt. Interestingly, it's slightly out the toe, which is a testament to how it feels. Again, I've turned it over, but 159, 110.6 of ball speed. It's actually got higher as well. Spin rate of 4560. So good. Like, I've got enough data now to compare it and give some honest thoughts on, but I just want to hit one more. 156 there, 109 of ball speed, peak height 89 feet. So before I hit this last shot, maybe this is where I need to be fair. Is it delivering anything better and more special than anything that I've tested? I don't think so, but it is absolutely up there in the top 5% of things that I've tested, and its consistency really does impress me, and it looks stunning and it feels great. Now, whether that's worth an extra 50–60%, I'm a little bit tight, probably not for me, but there'll be plenty of you out there who will want these in the bag because of how they look, the conversation starter they'll be, and how they feel off the face, plus how good those numbers are. Let's just get one more good one to finish. I've absolutely towed that. I could feel the club just twist in my hand, so we're going to get a bit of drop off there. How much? Great. They're forgiving too. Sadly, TrackMan didn't pick up the impact location, but as soon as I hit it, I could feel that club twist. It was definitely out the toe, and we've carried it 151 with a ball speed of 106, and it's spun at 4.7, and it's still gone 89 feet in the air. But that's a forgiving club. It really is. Right, done hitting shots with the Callaway Apex Ti iron. What we're going to do now is go home and we're going to look at the TrackMan data from the whole batch of shots you've just seen me hit against the batch I benchmarked with the Ai200 shortly before I started filming, and just see if the feelings that I'm having in the bay about how good the numbers are out of this iron are backed up in that data compared to its bigger brother. Let's do that now. So you've seen me hit the shots, now it's time to deep dive into all of that TrackMan data to see if the feels from the bay are backed up in real data. Now before we start that deep dive, it's just worth remembering that the 7-iron loft on the Apex Ti is 30.5 degrees versus 30 degrees on the Apex Ai200. Now starting on the left hand side, you'll see that club head speeds and ball speeds were higher with the Callaway Apex Ti. However, you'll also see that smash factors were nearly identical. So what that says to me is that whilst the combination of iron and shaft in the Apex Ti did make for a faster club, the titanium face on its own wasn't creating more explosion off of the face, otherwise I think we would have seen a higher smash factor. Spin rates with the Apex Ti iron were 350 RPM, that's circa 8% higher than with the Ai200. However, it is worth calling out that these spin rates were similar to most other players' distance irons that I test on the channel, and ideally at the price point of these irons, I'd want to see a number closer to 5,000 RPM on average off of a mat, which would then become closer to 6,000 RPM once we took it off of the grass. Now it is worth noting we did see some spin rates that did pass the 5,000 RPM with the Apex Ti, but just not consistently enough to make that average come up a little bit higher. The most impressive thing to me when I was in the bay was the ball flight on the Apex Ti. It was virtually identical time after time. And what we can see here is that on average it is a little bit better than that Ai200. We've got virtually identical launch angles, but 3.1 feet more peak height on average and 0.9 degrees steeper land angle. If I just show you that side on view, just look how consistent they were from one shot to the other, backing up exactly what I was thinking when I was in the bay. Next up, it's that carry distance. Well, the Apex Ti iron, probably because of that little bit of extra speed, was 1.1 yards longer through the air at 155.5 yards versus 154.4 yards with the Ai200. However, that combination of additional spin and that slightly stronger ball flight did mean that both balls stopped at after 166.3 yards, meaning that the Apex Ti had approximately 10% more stopping power and will just hold the green that little bit easier versus the Ai200. Finally, I just want to show you my dispersion pattern. Again, just look how impressive that front to back dispersion is. Yes, the left to right wasn't as tight as with the Ai200, but the sample size is significantly bigger with the Apex Ti, and I think the front to back is what we should care about a little bit more as golfers, and that is seriously impressive. So, do I love the Callaway Apex Ti irons? Absolutely. But would I buy the Callaway Apex Ti irons? Probably not. And let me give you my 3 key reasons. First of all, price point. Now these irons were one of the best performing irons that I've ever tested. I absolutely loved them. But the key thing there is they're only one of the best. There are plenty of other players distance irons that I've tested on the channel that deliver very similar performance in my hands for a much cheaper price point. Now as the price conscious golfer, I'd therefore be inclined to pick one of those options over the Callaway Apex Ti. The second thing is I'm a massive advocate and believer in the power of custom fitting and dialing in the right club head and the right shaft to get the perfect combination for you. Now the Callaway Apex Ti looks so stunning because you've got that matching shaft and that matching club head. And if you went in for a custom fitting and you found out that wasn't the right shaft for you, I just don't think they'd have the same bag appeal as they do in that stock shaft and club head combination, and I'd be inclined to believe that that probably wouldn't be the right shaft for me if I went to have a custom fit, and I therefore wouldn't want to pay that price point for something that just doesn't look as nice when you've got that stainless steel shaft and that darker club head. The third point for me is I am a mid-handicap golfer, and I do like my iron to have that certain look about it that inspires a bit of confidence, particularly on days when I'm not striking my irons that well. Now I do think the Callaway Apex Ti irons are a forgiving iron based on what I saw when I was in the bay, but they just don't look like a forgiving iron. They look exactly like a blade. Now that will appeal to lots of you watching this video, but to me personally, I just like to see a slightly thicker top line, a little bit more size to the iron. It just says to me on a day when I'm not striking my irons that great, this club's going to help me out a bit and just give me that little bit more confidence that I need on those tougher days on the golf course. Now that leads me on to the question of should you buy the Callaway Apex Ti irons? Well, I guess it depends. If any of the points that I've just made resonate with you, then you should probably not buy these irons either. However, if you are someone who isn't as price conscious as me and you do want your iron to look as sleek as possible whilst delivering some player's distance performance, then this could be the perfect iron for you, particularly if you're going to go and buy it off the rack in that stock shaft combination that does deliver that absolutely outstanding bag appeal. The final comment I'd make on these irons is they were really, really nice to test. One of my favorite testing sessions was hitting these irons, and they did feel absolutely great, and therefore there is lots of plus points about them. All that's left for me to say is if you like the video, please do hit that thumbs up button. It really does help golfers like you to find my videos on YouTube. And I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What do you think to my review of the Apex Ti irons? Do you agree with my conclusions? Would you test these? Would you buy these? Please do let me know. And if you're not yet subscribed to Weekend Tool Pros, hit the button down below, ring the bell icon, and you'll get a notification every time one of my videos lands on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye.